Welcome back to the Chef JKP podcast, Season 9. You all know the format by now. We discuss the ups and downs of the industry that brings people together, as well as food memories and the occasional funny story or two. This season is all about wellness, whether it's mental health, fitness, manifestation, or finding your balance at the top of your profession. We're diving into the nitty-gritty of the well-being in this industry. We all know it can be a tough place to be, but even more so when dealing with things in your own head. I have to say, this season is very different to the ones in the past. So I ask you to be open-minded as there are some deep dives into the topic of mental health and beyond. As always, we have a stellar lineup of guests, pioneers, and leaders who will help us uncover what it truly takes to keep wellness at the forefront of hospitality. Again, this season we welcome back LoveFits, gourmet protein bars. If you have yet to check them out, go to their Instagram page, and as you know, these bars are your go-to incredible protein snack. And they also happen to have 15 grams of protein. No nasties, and they taste absolutely delicious. I'm also very happy to welcome Westhome as part of our sponsors. Nature-led Australian Wagyu with incredible signature flavor. I have to say it's exciting to get such a fantastic an array of partners on board. They have added amazing value to the show. You'll be hearing all about what they do throughout the season. And of course, they are the reason we can bring this content to you for free. Without further ado, this is what you can expect to hear from the inspirational guests during this season.
We do not have a type of restaurant that we or our voters are looking for. It's not intended to be a fine dining list or series of lists, the restaurants lists. It's intended to be a list of great restaurants.
So I think when we think about mental health, we're just literally thinking about the state of our mind, our emotions, psychology. So mental health as a term does not mean an illness.
And as psychologists, what we do is kind of formulate. Yeah. So this is just, how does this difficulty make sense in the context of one's life experiences, one's biology, one's environment, and all of those kind of things, right? So we don't necessarily have to be label focused either. It's just like, okay, there's a struggle or there's an area that's impacting you. How does this make sense?
So the masala and the rice is, all the spices are slow cooked together into the mutton. They put a potato in because that's the recipe for a Sindhi biryani. There's mutton and potato. Right. Historically, it was done because to keep so much meat in one plate would be expensive.
People think, well, work is the enemy of life. Life is this and work is this. Change the perception. In order to have life, you need the work, and there's got to be this symbiotic relationship that happens between the two.
There was a lot of pressure for fast bite-sized stories as opposed to deep work.
Right.
So let's just say that's a difference of opinion. So there was that. But as I say, I had lost, even in the previous job, I'd lost my father to mental health. And I remember looking at his body when I went to his funeral, when they have the open casket, and just going, why could we not talk about this stuff?
It's a very unique time. It has been for the last, I would say, 15, 20 years to actually run a fine dining establishment in this part of the world.
We also required a lot of homework. I think it's the right word to use, because every time we do some changes, we're from kitchen side sharing WhatsApp documents for front of house to read up on. And then we do tastings with the team, showing them how we are talking about the ingredients being used. And then we also showcasing how we are executing it.
The reason that I'm really here on this planet, I believe, is to help people. It's to help leave this planet better than I found it. And it's to help people really elevate their frequency and their vibration so that they can become a match for whatever it is that they're looking to call it.
For the first time ever, the Chef JKP podcast is going live. We're going to be at Time Out Market Dubai as we bring the heat with unfiltered, exclusive conversations featuring some of the biggest names in hospitality. Mark your calendars. April 13th, 20th and 27th for 3 unforgettable nights of behind-the-scenes stories, insider secrets and culinary revelations. Want in? We are giving away tickets. All you have to do is follow both Instagram accounts and keep your eyes peeled for your shot at winning a pair. Don't just listen, be part of the experience. A phenomenal lineup, I'm sure you'd agree. Now, what have I been up to? It's been a super busy time taking part in the MENA's 50 Best Restaurants event, which I have to say was extremely exciting, as well as seeing so many familiar faces. Also, the 2025 Go and Milo Gala took place at Atlantis The Royal. It was a very glitzy affair, some well-deserved awards. There was so many things happening that time, but at the same time, Reba, the restaurant that I'm with, also walked away with 1 toque. So I have to say thank you very, very much to the esteemed inspectors. It was an amazing honor, and the team are super proud. Equally, Gulf Food was just recently, and I was a judge at this competition, YouthX, which had some incredible new talents in the industry. Of course, there's openings, exciting menu launches, and a new addition to the house. Not a baby, but a rabbit. We have a rabbit at home. Her name is Lola. And no, before you ask, she's not for eating. She's just there to be an incredible pet. Now, if you remember the 100th episode, I mentioned that we have something amazing coming up. And that's right. For the first time ever, the Chef JKP podcast is going live, and it's going to be at Time Out Market Dubai. Join us April 13th, 20th and 27th for an exclusive, unfiltered conversations with some of the biggest names in hospitality. Now, if you want to be there, we are giving away tickets. Very simply, all you have to do is follow both of the accounts on Instagram, okay? And just look out for these special announcements. Now, I couldn't be more excited to bring you the magic of the podcast to a live audience. And I am so hyped up of the fact that it's going to be at this amazing venue which houses some of the best food in the Middle East. So, when it comes to this season, let's get into it. Mental health in hospitality. Everyone has it. Everyone suffers from mental health in one way or another. We all know someone who struggled with depression, anxiety, even bouts of psychosis. Hospitality is a pressure cooker. We thrive in high stakes environments, but we also need to learn how to manage stress before it can become overwhelming. Now, according to research from the Hospitality Mental Health Alliance, nearly 80% of hospitality workers report experiencing mental health struggles with high levels of burnout, stress, and anxiety. The long hours, the intense environments, the high expectations. This industry is especially challenging. Now, tragically, some of the most brilliant minds in our industry, like the brilliant French chef who received 3 Michelin stars, Bernard Loiseau, and perhaps one of the biggest names still to this day in the global culinary scene, and inspired so many people, the late great Anthony Bourdain. They lost their battles with mental health. Their legacy does live on, reminding us how crucial it is to have conversations and support for one another. Now, when coming up with the theme and the interviews, I asked the Dubai Chefs Collective for their thoughts on mental health. And here are some of the questions we'll be tackling this season. First of all, recognizing mental health struggles. How can chefs and teams identify when they or others are suffering, and how does it affect performance and that all-important creativity? Breaking the stigma. How can we shift the mindset that expressing vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a step towards strength and resilience? Another point, daily mindset shifts. If there was one habit that could drastically improve mental health in high-pressure kitchens, what would it be? And of course, seeking help. Many professionals hesitate to seek therapy due to the stigma. How can we normalize mental health support in that workplace? How can we make it normal? Because it is normal. What about hospitality's effect on families? The stress of the industry doesn't just affect chefs. It certainly impacts our families, our relationships, and our ability to be present at home. How do we strike that balance? Workplace culture. How can restaurant owners or exec chefs, directors create an environment where mental health well-being is prioritized without sacrificing performance? Great questions. Now, for me, I've faced my own battles. Age 11, my parents went through a super crazy, tough divorce. At the same time, not many people know this, but at the age of 15, I became a dad. And then I worked to become a nightclub bouncer. And I didn't just deal with violence. I was understanding how humans behave in that environment. And then I eventually stepped into the pressure cooker of working at the best Michelin-starred restaurants and kitchens in the world. What got me through? It was the support networks. Friends, family, my wife. Therapy also gave me perspective. Simple habits, going to the gym, James time, reading, things that keep me sane. At the same time, we also talk about physical health. But why we don't talk about mental health? It's invisible, but it's imperative to recognize the signs and open up conversations. Talking about how we drive change, companies and governments have realized that it is absolutely imperative to delve deeply into this subject and not to take it for granted. There is help out there. There is no longer a taboo subject. Every single one of us is affected by mental health in one way or another. So why not simply talk about it openly? In my experience as a chef, you have to take the time out to talk to your team and really find out what is happening. We always have briefings, and I always look around for the telltale signs. Perhaps somebody is suffering. Maybe you're not even in the industry. Perhaps you see a friend, a loved one, a teammate not being their usual bubbly self, or they're a bit scruffy, or they're not looking great. That's the time to raise the alarm. That's when you should be paying super close attention. Just those little details, they're not normally, they're not friendly, they're not laughing with you, whatever it may be. You have to go and do the honorable thing of checking in on them. Don't just say hi. It needs to be done in a soft, subtle way. Ask soft opening questions that allows a person to slowly open up. And it needs to feel like a safe space when they can talk without any sort of judgment. Your job is to listen. That's it. And if you are listening or watching and are struggling with your mental health, firstly, know you are not alone. Secondly, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to open up. It's okay to open up to friends, family. And if you can't open up to them, there are hundreds of places and clinics where you have the opportunity to reach out for free. Now, I've found some free online sites that can really help and offer mental health support and resources. And these are available globally. First of all, 7cups.com. This provides free anonymous emotional support through an online chat with trained volunteers and listeners with community forums. Another one is called Mental Health America, mhanational.org. Again, they offer free mental health screenings, educational resources, and information to help users better understand and manage their mental health. Another one, themighty.com, an online community where people actually share their personal experiences with their challenges. And they also support one another. Mind.org.uk. Although they're based in the UK, They provide extensive mental health information, advice, support, and services that can benefit users worldwide. And then Samaritans.org. They offer free, confidential support for people in distress. While its primary services focus in the UK and Ireland, the website itself provides useful global resources and crisis intervention advice. Another one is I'mAlive.org, free online crisis chat services where individuals can speak with trained volunteers if they're in distress. Primarily in the US, but they have access online. All of these details I will place in the show notes, so you have all of these things. Now, that wraps up our introductory episode to Season 9. I'm really excited to see your reaction. Don't be shy. Message me. Let me know the feedback. It really helps to make the show a success. And still to this day, I can't believe 5 years on, Season 9. Now, please don't forget, we have got these live shows. So I would love to see you there. We're going to give away a lot of tickets, so it's going to be amazing. At the same time, don't forget the amazing thermos flasks. If you want to grab yours, don't forget to send me a DM and we'll get one over to you, as this also helps to support the show. A massive thank you to our sponsors and our partners for making this show possible. The incredible team at Podster. And now, enjoy the upcoming season. Don't forget that 5-star review and don't forget to subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed, why have you been naughty? Just press that button. It's nice and easy, as well as following us on any or your favorite podcast hosting platforms. My culinary brothers and sisters, spread the word. One last thing, if you enjoy the show, or you know someone you know could learn from the guests and the conversations we have, just give it a little nudge and share it away, as these conversations might inspire someone to take action and become the very best at what they do. Of course, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm excited to see what's coming up on this season. So, until next time, food is memories.